Welcome everyone. This is obviously a happy new year to everyone around the world, and the first podcast that we've got for 2026. So let me take you back to 2023, where the whole logistic network was devastated by the passing of Richard Overton, obviously personally myself as well. And you basically got involved with the acquisition of X2 and G7. So Niels, how did that first start off?
Well, Happy New Year, Daniel. Thanks for having us. Yeah, it was a shocker to our system when we heard the news. I heard about Richard's passing through Melvin. My first questions that I ask myself is what's going to happen with this amazing network, because we've always heard good things about X2 at the time. And yeah, we kind of, had a few chats the following days when we first heard about it. And yeah, I think the thought then came about if there was an opportunity for us to step in and help out in any form, way, or shape. We had no idea how. But yeah, and I think Melvin kind of initiated the first steps, the way that how I remember it best, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was actually at Cologne at that time, attending the Fruit Logistica exhibition. And when the news broke, I was at my booth. We had a couple of forwarders that came to me to tell me of the unfortunate passing away. And I instantly thought about the community. I always knew that that X2 was a special place. I had some interactions with X2 in the past, and there was always something unique and something different about it. And in my mind, I had my juices flowing and thinking about what we could do to perhaps still rescue the situation and maybe play a role in the future of X2.
I mean, you actually met Richard, didn't you?
I did.
Did Christian? Did you ever meet Richard?
No, I never met with Richard. And also, I was initially not really for the idea of taking over X2. It was just too much for me at that moment. I was by the beach. Then I received some calls from these guys suggesting maybe we should consider. So for me, I was a little bit the contrarian in the very beginning. I was not really super excited about it. Number one, maybe because I'm ignorant about the community. I have no idea about what the community was all about. But then also, I just already am very busy myself, so I didn't really look to be busier, right?
Yeah.
So we had some interactions there in the very beginning between Niels and myself and Melvin, right? So it was not always, come on, let's do it now and whatever, right? I was a little bit worried about all the challenges that would come along with it, right?
Yeah, in fact, I still remember when that evening when I went back to the room and shared the first few messages with them and spoke about the idea of perhaps playing a role. There was not much interest from the two of them. And because I didn't get the response that I expected, I went back and slept and didn't make much of it anymore. But when I woke up the next day, the two of them had actually already convened and decided that maybe this could be interesting, and they had formulated a rough draft within 24 hours of that conversation. And I thought, okay, now this is interesting, and they've already taken that first few steps. So from there on, the next 2 weeks, it was every single day of fine details, trying to put together a workable proposal that could translate this community or this limbo situation into a workable plan.
So Christian, you must have been very surprised when obviously you and Niels are talking, and then normally acquisitions take about 6 months.
Yes,
And
that's
suddenly
right.
you've
Yeah.
gone from on the beach, relaxing, I'm
Yeah.
not really sure about this, to turn it around in how many months, how many days?
Yeah, so basically we told ourselves we need to close it within 2 weeks because otherwise the community is compromised. The trust will just fall apart, not only from the community but also from the staff, right? Because I mean the teams have to be paid, right? Otherwise, if they don't get their salaries, then that will also fall apart. So we told ourselves, 2 weeks is our kind of like our milestone or our goal, and we want to meet it by that time, and that's why we were working quite hard in the very beginning.
And Niels, on your side, I mean, you're on the CFO side. I mean, that must have been a lot of numbers to start crunching around.
Yeah, I think at that time all three of us were CFOs, and we were really bouncing back numbers, and with the very limited information that we had at the time, and we were also in touch, of course, with Jennifer, and trying to understand the community's numbers, not just the community. We didn't understand the community yet. We didn't know the community, but we were trying to get a hold of some rough numbers that we could live with, play with, and make it work somehow. So yeah, and that took really, I would say, the better part of those 2 weeks. And then also our internal convincing, when we were bouncing around numbers, suddenly I'm sitting on the fence and I'm like, I don't think it's a good idea. It doesn't make sense. And then Christian steps in, no, well, we have to push, go to what, look at these numbers again, look at it from a different angle. And there was a lot of back and forth amongst the three of us, and convincing ourselves that it would be the right thing to do.
And also, you've got the emotional side from the staff as well.
Absolutely.
Because, I mean, I was chatting to the staff and they were very emotional of obviously what's happened. And then having to concentrate on this, they probably would have said, look, just give us 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
But it was good on their side that they're actually, giving you all the information you need and helping them. I mean, Richard would have been very proud of that.
Now, I can also tell you that, during that period, hours felt like days and days felt like weeks. And those 2 weeks felt like we went through a couple of years, so decisions had to be made on the go, and we were in three different time zones. I'm based in Dubai and Christian in Manila, and
Which is sometimes a good thing.
Nils in Vancouver. Yeah, the good thing because it gives you time to reflect, but on the downside, we had to convene to make that decision. And that sometimes was the challenge. So I was waking up at 4 a.m. trying to catch them and things like that. But for me, what stood out was how our gut, or that feeling that something was where we were in the right direction. There's that force that tells you, because we had limited information. We had to go with what the team was telling us. Sometimes it was one Zoom call, one meeting with the numbers that a person that we hadn't met ever in our lives was sharing with us. And based on that information, we were making life-changing decisions. And when I look back now, I think that's a very interesting period in this journey of the acquisition.
Well, you had a lot of things to think about because obviously you've got your other networks as well. Sure. I mean, one of the questions that everybody was asking in the community was, are you going to blend CLM with X2, or are you going to keep it separately? So where was this decision on that?
I think there was never really much of a decision to be made there. It was very clear to us from the onset that X2 is a very unique community. It had to remain that way, and it could only remain that way by being the way it is and continues without any discussions of integration. That was never on the cards. I mean,
No,
not
it
for
was
me.
never in the cards, but it was very important for us to communicate that also, and also stand
fear.
and also stand by our, decision, right? So there were a lot of uncertainties from the customers as to what we were going to do. So for, let me say, several weeks, we needed to win their trust, right? And one of the ways that we did that was to set up an integration meeting with all the community to explain, our plans and introduce ourselves also a little bit more formally. So, but it took us a month or a month and a half to be able to do that, to gather all the pieces of the puzzle to be able to present something. I mean, in the very beginning, we were working with a handful of people, right? With a handful of people for the X2 team. So we had to build the team also quite quickly, like, overnight, right?
Yeah.
So we were able to kind of put together the team in a matter of 45 days, and that was the time when we felt that like it was the right time to present ourselves,
Now,
right?
maybe if I can just ask you a question, we've had a lot of challenges during that period. What would be the number one challenge that you faced for you? Because you said that putting together the team. So what would you say was our number one challenge for you?
For me, I would say the number one challenge was to get the events planning in place properly, because we were going to work with new suppliers, with new ways of how to look at events. And X2 was doing it in a very unique way, right?
Yeah.
So for us to understand it, we would have to really, dig back into the history of, which suppliers they used. And that was not very easy. It was just a few things that the X2 was doing that was outstanding that we were not aware of, and we needed to learn, right? So that would be my number one challenge, and to try to do that within a matter of 6 months. So when we took over, we only had 6 months to plan for the next event, right? So I think that was the number one challenge.
For me, my number one challenge was gaining the trust of the community. For me, that was the foundation of everything, because if you don't have the trust of the community, you also don't have an event afterwards. You don't have the community that sticks together anymore. So that, to me, was the number one challenge, because there was also a lot of negative chatter in the community initially when we stepped in. And it was tough to navigate through that. It was emotionally very challenging, because we knew that we had the ability, because of our experience in networking, but that doesn't always translate in trust, right? So that takes time, and you have to power through, you have to work through, and you have to take it one by one, day by day, step by step, and eventually we gained the trust, I would say.
Sure. For me, I would say, the challenge would be, the number one challenge was managing the team that we inherited. They had their own culture and their own style and way of doing things. And for us to come in and learn that, and of course also win their trust, was probably the number one challenge that I thought we faced initially. So as you can see, we have three different takes on this.
Well, there's obviously a lot of retention in there as well. You want to keep as many as possible, but they need to know how to work your way. But we talked about the negatives. I'd like you to tell us about the positives. What positive vibe and reaction did you get from the communities? Not just X2, but all over the communities. They say, "Oh, go on, guys, you get in there. We'd love you to take this over. This is like a good little blend." I mean, what did you actually get as a good feedback?
Yeah. For me, I already had a lot of friends in X2, and it was really nice for them to reach out when they heard of the news and reassure us that we had their support. And I think that kind of formed the basis and the foundation of our initial few days. Very, very important, and something that we don't talk about enough. But without these few members, we probably could not have done it. So I'm truly, truly grateful to some of them.
On your side, Niels?
Yeah, there were individual comments and feedback from longtime members in CLN and other communities that we are running, that kind of commented over WhatsApp, and, "Hey, I heard you guys are working on the X2 project. This is fantastic news for X2 and also for you guys." So those individual messages were incredibly important for self-esteem, and for just knowing that we are maybe doing something right with what we do, and that kind of gave me encouragement and the strength to go through.
Yeah, I still remember Eunice messaging into the group, Eunice from Morocco, and I always remember that that message that he was just encouraging us to do well within the X2 group WhatsApp, and that he knows us for many years and that he can vouch for us. So for me, that definitely was a very important message and sent out the right signals to the community. Because as Neil said, we didn't have the trust from the community. We're just basically some strangers taking over a network, and then who are these guys, and do they even know anyone within the community? So that was very important for us.
I was actually, when I was asking about who would be taking over, the staff sent me a picture of Melvin at one of our conferences.
Wow.
G7, is it G7? X2, Avatar Night.
Wow.
So
Okay.
they were like, "Oh, he's been along to our conference." So you've actually had an experience,
Sure.
unlike Christian and Niels, of the event. So what did you think about the whole vibe? And then I'll come to Christian and Niels, and you can see it from the outside. You actually saw it from the inside.
Sure. I haven't seen that picture yet, so maybe you can share it with me to see if I still
I
look
think
good
we,
enough
I
for
think we
the
still got
takeover.
it in the archives.
No, but you know, that was the 2018 conference in Hua Hin, and I distinctly remember they had hot air balloons going up, taking some of the members at a time, and I thought to myself, "Wow, this is not just any conference; it's a festival." And I instantly knew that that was only the beginning of my journey with X2. I definitely could not have foreseen how things would develop, but I knew that it was a start of many good things to come, and I instantly took to the community, and I feel grateful to be able to play a role now in helping this community grow.
And Niels, did you have an idea of what you were going on to?
Not too much, no. And I've seen pictures and I've heard, of course, from other members about, the X2 vibe. As you just earlier said, I think that's a good word for it. There's nothing like it, and you can only experience it when you participate. And our first event, when we organized it, we actually also had no idea about the vibe. We just knew, okay, we have to, set it up in a certain way as it's been originally planned. But we had no idea of the feel and the vibe. And once we stood on the stage ourselves with the community and having a good time together, that's when it, kind of came together, and you have that aha moment when you're like, wow, this is crazy. This is why it is like that, and why there's such a great vibe in that community, is because they have a great time together in a special environment, special setting.
And Christian, I mean, you're obviously coming from the party history with a DJ. I mean, this must have been, heavenly to come on to X2, yeah?
Perfect fit.
Yeah, it was like kind of the perfect fit because, I used to DJ in different events, also freight forwarding events, but I was never really feeling, at home there because it was a corporate event and the setting was very corporate, right? But in X2, it's a little bit different. I mean, it's really more of a party vibe and a festival vibe, and everyone's in the mood for entertainment also. So I felt really very at home there. Even on the first event, I was DJing also, right? In Phuket.
I mean, it was great for us because obviously the staff as well,
Yeah.
because we're all obviously there to impress you, and make sure that it was great. It was great for you to enjoy yourself.
Well, it worked out well because you're trying to impress us and we're trying to impress you guys.
Well, that's a good mix, isn't it? I mean, I know what one thing the X2 community is good at is they're very good at switching off from we're here to do business, but now we're here to party. So the feedback, tell us about the feedback that you had when you first got up on stage and did your DJing with that community.
Well, I wouldn't say I got immediate, verbal feedback, but if people are dancing on stage, and that's already kind of the feedback for me, and yeah, I'm just happy that we were able to deliver on the experience also, and that the members were not complaining about how we would be running things, right? I was always confident about it, but I wasn't sure if, the members would receive us in the same way, and we were happy.
I think the vision that I've got of that first one, because if you remember back, Richard actually selected the hotel, and instead of changing it, we went with the flow, and it was a good hotel. But I think the picture that stands out to me is Christian's DJing with a pink wig on, and then there's Melvin next to him with a lime green wig on, and then Neil's the other side with his lovely orange wig on, and everyone's jumping up and down on the stage. I mean, that just sums up X2. I mean, did you ever think that when you were going through those weeks rather than months, that we could have turned it around, or you could have turned it around and actually got to that conference and got to that level that quickly?
Well, you never think that far ahead, right? It's always one day at a time, and one task at a time, one challenge at a time. But I do remember distinctly thinking when I was on that stage that, wow, this is the moment that we've all been working so hard for over these past few months. And it was not just the three of us, but it was the entire team that came together to put together something really special for the community. And I felt like my life, or that had come a full circle right there on that stage at that moment that you just referenced.
I mean, for me, when we have the conferences, it's great to everybody doing the business, but people actually enjoy themselves, and the people that have done the conference try to enjoy themselves as well at the same time.
That's right, yeah. And another thing that I also noticed about X2 is the members are also very special. There are a lot of members that are loyal to the group, but also that are very active, right? Like Sobel, for example. They're doing so many things, so many activities, so many team members fly in together with Sobel. So just wanted to mention that also, that it's not only about the managers or the management of the network, but also the community members are also very special, I would say, in X2.
It's good that you brought that up, Christian, because we just like to say there are still some sponsorship slots available for
So
these
sign up
conferences.
now.
Sign up now, or get disappointed. So we've spoken about what's happened in the past. So let's go through about what your vision is for the future. What's the future of these networks that you've got, obviously, with X2? Christian?
So one of the challenges that we would like to meet is to innovate in networking styles, to continue offering new experiences to members that they're not used to. So the first year when we hosted our X2 event, obviously everything was new to us. So this whole, networking in the swimming pool was new, after party was new, and we should take that as a cue to try to come up with new ways of networking, right?
Sorry, for your side, Niels. I mean, when you came in, I saw you took a lot from your other networks and blended them in to X2 slowly, but there are some similarities. But what would you like for the future?
Well, there's one thing that I'm looking forward to is better technology. I think that's an area for us that we are actively improving on right now, and we will be rolling that out within this year. That means a better interaction, or better, let me say, IT infrastructure, so a better dashboard, a mobile app that we're working on. There are many areas where we can improve the networking experience for our community, and so for me that would be one major point. And continue to grow the community where it makes the most sense, where we're not very well represented. Maybe also specializations, grow our specialized networks and become better in those fields. These are kind of my two priorities.
Okay, from you, Melvin?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but I keep saying that Christian and Nils, they work a lot on the business, do the harder job.
With you this time, not while you're sleeping.
No, but I am someone who works more in the business. I do believe that the easier part of the job. Naturally, I'm grateful that they're there to be looking at the bigger things, investing in technology. We want to do better systems, better dashboard, better conference app. We want to have a better event experience. Christian is always chasing us to do better and bigger and more on the event side of things, and that's all great. But for me, I like to believe that we can also do more by doing the simple things a little better every single day, servicing the community, solving disputes at a ground level, and pushing more business from our members every single day. And all of these add up. And at the end of the year, we're going to be a better community and a better X2.
So where would you all like to be in 10 years' time rather than retired?
In 10 years' time, well, that's a difficult one. Who wants to go first?
Still running X2 or making it bigger and better, or?
If I had it my way, I would still be involved at X2 in a very short span of 2 years. I feel deeply connected to the community, and if I could be involved in still managing this beautiful community, I'd be grateful.
And on your side, Niels?
I hope that I can involve my children in some way, because they will be at that in 10 years at the right age, I hope. That would be a wish, of course, with me alongside. I mean, it's kind of a dream, of course, and you never know how that will turn out, of course, because I'm not going to be able to influence all of their decisions. But yeah, definitely still want to be involved in the continued growth of X2, G7, and the community at large.
I know, Niels, you were mentioning about technology. I mean, I've heard buzzing about an X2 Pay and other digital tools that you mentioned about the app. I mean, is it going to be an X2 Pay, or are we going to?
Well, we do have X2 Pay within a dashboard. Of course, we want to try to transition that also on the mobile and see what kind of other tools we can roll out going forward. I mean, technology is moving so incredibly fast. Who knows what's going to be there in 3 to 5 years from now? I mean, AI is all the hype right now. And maybe there's something we can do with that also going forward. Looking at an overall better integration of whatever helps and benefits members to get more business and to have a more collaborative environment.
And for you, Christian, did you wish you stayed on the beach and not answered their calls?
No, I mean, I would love to grow the community, to be honest. To be able to say that we have several thousands of members in 10 years from now would be something that I would be striving for. Also have a greater presence in China, probably. Yeah, that would be it. Just to stay on course and continue to be there for our members, right? And perhaps also take a look at some niche networks, some specialized networks that are still underserved in the market, where we could offer X2 as kind of like a hub where we have several networks under it.
So would you look to expand, but have other networks, or maybe not do what you did with CLN and X2? Maybe get another network and then bring them into the X2 community, something like that?
You can't be letting everything out here on this one
Well,
session.
all you could say is no comment. Yeah.
No, I mean, I would be interested to explore new acquisition possibilities. It's not easy to find them in the market. They're not just for sale. You cannot just find networks for sale. So, these things, I don't know. I wouldn't be able to say we want to buy one network this year and one network next year. It's probably, we just have to be opportunistic, right? And keep our eyes open.
And finally, I mean, what are your thoughts about obviously taking over? I mean, it wasn't like an acquisition normally. Richard's passing obviously forced it a bit. I mean, what was your thoughts about taking over X2 with how it actually happened? Was there some apprehension, or were you like, well, we want to go forward with this, we want to take it over and understand it a lot more?
Yeah, it's funny that you asked this because I think it was last night that we were at Nils's room after a couple of beers, and we were actually having a chat about this. How do we feel about the acquisition? Looking back now, it all feels like it's all, let's say, all rosy, and it all seemed to have fit so nicely. But at the time, uh, we had so many challenges and sleepless nights that uh, I could not have envisioned us to be able to do justice so quickly. So I think the community has played a big role in that because it was not just in our interest to see X2 succeed. The community, whether they liked us initially or not, they were all so invested in the idea of X2 that they wanted to see X2 succeed. It didn't matter who we were, as long as there was someone that came in and allowed them to continue the way of doing things. Uh, so it all kind of fit in and played out well.
Yeah, would I do it again? Absolutely. I mean, and even if it had to play out the same way, yeah, absolutely, no doubt about it. And I told Christian and Melvin yesterday, I never doubted in their ability, in our ability as a whole. We have, the experience from running our own network. So it was for me just a matter of gaining the trust of the community that needed time. But on a technical ability level, that for me was, never in doubt.
For me, I was always excited about the whole thing, right? Primarily because I wanted to have an excuse to fly to Bangkok, right? That was like a major, major plus point for me. I still remember the first time we traveled here. Remember, Melvin was having such a huge headache about some issues that we had, and I was like, just forget about it. Just cool down. And we're in Bangkok right now, and we should just enjoy, right? So for me, Bangkok was very appealing, and I figured, we just need to figure it out, right? One step at a time.
And have you got any messages to the industry or the X2 community that you want to relay at all?
Well, I want to say that all three of us are here for you.
Yeah. We're here to serve, yeah.
Here to serve and here to grow X2 and to create a community that's conducive for business. I truly believe that every single member at X2 deserves an opportunity to grow their business, and we're invested in that journey.
Okay. Niels?
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. I mean, yeah, we're here to serve our community, in short. What I also like to hear from the community is not just positive feedback, but also constructive negative feedback so that we know where we're at, where we can improve, or where we should do better. That's also important to me. So don't be shy to contact us and let us know if something doesn't fit. We'll be happy to jump in and correct it. I mean, we're all very hands-on day to day. And if we are able to make corrections or things to improve on, then that's our job.
Christian?
They said it all already. I can't really say anything else to that,
You're
right?
just happy to come to Bangkok.
Just happy to be in Bangkok. That's it.
So just to wrap up, we're going to do some quick-fire questions, just to keep you on your toes. And the winner is the person that gives me the most entertaining answer, and you will win a fabulous X2 trophy.
All right, let's do this.
Okay, so
now
well worth. I mean, there's lots of people that have pictures of these at the conference because they're so happy we're winning them. Okay, so the first one, let's go to Christian. What did not work in any of the conferences?
Well, for me, it was the initial pool networking. It was just a little bit messy for us to take over a network where all of a sudden we had to do face-to-face meeting in the swimming pool. So we were just not very clear of how to do it. And we messed up a little bit on the numbering there. The numbering of the tables because if you want to number, tables in a swimming pool, how do you do that? So we only figured out like super last minute that we had to do table numbers, and we had to do that all within 1 hour. It was gonna be a big failure, and it was gonna be really messy if we didn't figure that out. But luckily, we were able to figure that out. So it was.
And also, not many people getting out of the pool after 3 hours of drinking and going to the toilet. That was another worry, wasn't it?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, that's still manageable, right? You can still figure out where the toilet was. But the thing is, for us, it was really important to do the table numbers because everyone was looking forward to having a meeting session every 20 minutes somewhere, right? And we kind of messed that up, the whole numbering story.
What do you think, Neil?
I can add to that actually, and giving them a paper scheduler in the swimming pool, that also doesn't work.
Okay, Melvin?
Last year we had this brilliant idea, or we thought was a brilliant idea, to do domes at our conference. So we'd seen these visuals and sample of these domes where they were really lit on the inside, and they had all these graphics, and they promised us sound healing and all kinds of magic inside. And we thought at the time it was a great idea. And at the event, there were no takers for it. No one really cared too much about it. And so it's fairly safe to say that's not coming back at any of our conferences again.
Okay.
Although we could use it for the massage corner.
There you go. That's how it all starts. And then before you know it, we have another dome at the conference.
We need to reinvent the dome. And what about surprising things that you thought weren't going to work but actually did work, or that you took over and then suddenly X2, it was working with them and it hadn't worked somewhere else?
I don't know right now. I actually have one more which didn't work too well, and that was the opening party, the opening cocktail party. We got these how do you call that? Hot air balloons.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to fly into the air and make a huge show, but it was just too windy that day, right? And that was kind of like our chance to to give our first impression to the community, and it was just it was a fail for me, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it was just too windy. The hot air balloons didn't go up into the air. The music was wrong. So, and that was like the first thing that, first chance for us to prove ourselves. And unfortunately, that didn't do well. Right?
Okay. The surprise that worked, Melvin?
Well, I think the fireworks, something that we'd never tried or done at any of our conferences before. And it was a really nice touch that we had an equipment on stage, and we had the three of us come in to press a button, and that would initiate a range of fireworks, and that worked really, really nicely. And I would love to do that again at another event.
I think we had Christian's son hitting the button as
That's
well
right,
with
that's
you
right,
at the
that's
same
right.
time. And then afterwards he kept hitting it, thinking he was going to get the same result over and over again.
Yeah.
Niels, anything surprising?
Not necessarily surprising, but I did not expect the after parties to be that well attended. And yeah, I mean, I thought we would not have, great turnout, but the after party was just amazing, and we had a good time.
Okay. Can you think of anything now, Christian?
Yeah, I mean, I could think of one moment where, I just didn't want to be up on stage by myself. So I asked Melvin and Niels to be with me there right beside the DJ's booth and encourage them to bring people up on stage so I wouldn't be alone. So I guess that was one thing that was unexpectedly doing well.
We got some great video of dancing
Yeah,
up on the
that was
stage,
fun,
and the
that was
staff
fun.
are up there as well. That was great.
Yeah, it was a good
And
time.
obviously 3 guys, you're all working together. I mean, are there any number one disagreement between you guys?
I wish it was just one, but
So like I think Melvin has ADHD and I have ADHD. So we have all these random ideas that we never come to a agreement to. We never agree to anything. And then Niels, he's not really ADHD. He doesn't really care about anything. So Yeah, it's always a battle between me and Melvin, I would say, in terms of, I'm- ideas and direction,
I
right?
got to try to keep you guys in check, right?
So Niels is more like the calming influence of the father.
That's right.
I can tell you when we during the 2 weeks during the acquisition, me and Christian would have a disagreement every single day, and Nils would wake up to 300, 400 messages from us trying to play a peacemaker. And at certain points, I would just wait for Nils to wake up because we needed someone to pull us apart.
Yeah.
But what I can tell you is that when we do agree on things, we celebrate. Because it's also important to appreciate the moments that we can come to a consensus on things.
Yeah, yeah.
So those are rare.
Yes.
But it's a good, I think it's a good synergy between the three of us. We come from very different people and we bring different things to the table. So I'm absolutely grateful for these boys in my life.
So I sent out a voting option to all of the members, and they voted on your answers, and they voted to give it to Niels.
This is biased.
So there you go. There's your trophy, Niels. Well done.
Awesome. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Nils, for saying nothing.
Well, that was the calming influence again, wasn't it? So that was great, guys. I mean, very entertaining. Obviously, I've learnt a few things today, and I hope the delegates and the members. And we're working up to the conference, which is going to be fantastic. Some sponsorship units slots still available, so you're all okay with it. Thank you very much for all your time. Happy New Year again, and we hope to do another podcast with you
Thank you,
soon.
Daniel. We could not have had anyone better to do this for us. Appreciate it.
Cheers,
My
Daniel.
pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.